Welcome to this Tech Today special from Las Vegas. I'm your host Ayush Alavadi, a self-confessed tech geek. And why am I here in Las Vegas? We've brought the show to Las Vegas because there's a bunch of tech geeks out here this week discussing Mars. That's machine learning, AI, robotics, and space exploration. That's a real thing, and we have so much to tell you about it. There's all that and a lot more, but to kickstart our coverage, here's a very special smart home. Well, we're here at the Mars event in Las Vegas, and in this smart home, well, I have a new car, the Maserati Levante. No, we're not reviewing this on Tech Today. The magic happens on the inside. We're showing you a really cool technology feature. Join me inside. Welcome to my Alexa integrated Maserati Levante. Now, if I'm coming back after a long day of work, and of course this looks at my to-do lists and whatnot, but there's a garage door which needs to close once I've parked the car. And this is how I do it now. Alexa, close the garage door.
Closing. Hang on.
And just like that, in my smart home, the garage door will begin to close. I can also open it the same way. I can run to-do lists on this. I can also, well, shop for things on the way. And I think that's what makes it really interesting. That technology can make your life a whole lot easier. There you go. The garage door is shutting as we speak. Now this is just the beginning. Picture abhi baki hai. Join me on the inside of my new home. And just like that, with my Ring device, I am now safely in my Amazon smart home. A lot of stuff can happen over here. Let me walk you through it. This is essentially an Amazon Fire TV where it is integrated with their Ring front doorbell, which is showing you the doorbell right now. Who's outside the house? You can also, well, open the door using this. There's a surprise at the end of this walkthrough, so stay tuned to it. Then there's this. An Amazon Smart Air Quality Monitor, which I find quite fascinating, especially if you're in Delhi or in any other Indian city. This can be quite helpful. And it's not just a monitor telling you what kind of AQI levels and carbon monoxide levels are there. It's also working in tandem with an air purifier, which could be another brand that has an Alexa integrated air purifier, which will then adaptively fix, well, the air in the room. You can then hop on from here, and that couch looks very inviting, but you can then hop on from here into the bedroom. The bedroom, again, has everything controlled by, I'm not going to take the name because we don't want the ones in your house opening up. This is all controlled in terms of this device, the Echo Show. You can talk to it immediately saying, Alexa, switch off the lamp.
Okay.
And there, that lamp has gone off. I'm just telling you how technology can really make your home smarter. There's more in the kitchen. I'll see you there. Now, if you're heading to the kitchen, there's a lot of magic happening here as well. You don't have to always, well, do things by yourself. Technology can make your life a lot easier. This is an Echo Show 15, which is a new Echo Show device. And this is showing the back of my Maserati as well, which I hope was my car, but it isn't the case. And you can control everything from these devices all over the home. Let's skip from here, straight over here. This is, well, in times of the pandemic, you really need something that reminds you to wash your hands and do it the right way. Put your hand out there, and if you see these rings on top, they're going to continue, well, beeping for the next 20 seconds. And that's how you'd know that this particular device has told you that you washed your hands well in time and you've done a good job at it. It doesn't stop there. You can also make your coffee using the smart coffee maker. I'm not in the mood for coffee. I'm already charged up and caffeinated with this particular shoot. But there's more even in the backyard. If you have a backyard, you can control even sprinklers from here with your Amazon Echo devices. But the real elephant in the room is this tiny, cute little thing, which has been made by the team at Astro. And these are, well, the moments which you really need to remember. This is something that we are waiting for even back home. And if you look at this device, you can literally tell it to do all sorts of home monitoring, well, take payloads and send them to other rooms. And yes, it doesn't just look cute as well. If you're really bummed out, it can dance for you as well. Astro, dance for me. Well, if you have two left feet like me and you can't necessarily dance, then you can enjoy Astro with all the dancing. You can do a lot of useful things as well. Now, the team behind Astro is a team that understands robotics, and that's the person we want to speak to today on Tech Today, Ken Washington. Ken Washington, what a pleasure to have you on the show with us, Ken.
It's my pleasure.
Ken, when we're talking about Astro, this is a robot which is version 1. I'm guessing in subsequent iterations it can do a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we call a day 1 edition product, and it's our first home robot. It won't be our last. We're very excited about putting Astro in customers' homes, and we're already hearing that they love the home monitoring feature. It's giving them peace of mind by helping them care for loved ones, and it's a great companion. You saw how cute it is.
So, being cute aside, there are a lot of utilities and things that it actually does. What are the top 3 things that have worked for you in terms of customer feedback? Because this is something that it really matters, right? Customer feedback in this case.
Absolutely. We obsess over customers and their feedback. So the top 3, the top one is without a doubt home monitoring. I personally have experienced that where I monitor my home when I'm not there. I was recently on vacation. I used Astro to double check my front door. It was priceless. The second one is caring for loved ones. When you can't be with your loved one, you can check in on them, drop in on them, talk to them, make sure they're okay, give them reminders to even take their medicine. And then the third one is entertainment and companionship. You can use Astro to play music and follow you. You can use it to watch videos and just kind of do fun things like have it dance and just like have fun with it.
But for now, it's invite only and in the US. When do we expect this to ship to other markets all over Asia, India, and the like?
We don't have a firm roadmap to share with you at this time, but watch the space and we'll have more to say later.
And what is your one favorite command with Astro?
Oh, it'd be like asking, someone with 10 kids, who's your favorite kid? I have lots of favorite commands. But
thank you, Ken, for joining us on Tech Today.
It's my pleasure.
We're here in Las Vegas, of course, for the Mars conference. It's an Amazon event where they're talking about robotics, space, and some crazy mind-boggling things. But we're also all over Las Vegas, and we hope to travel the country. And when we do, well, we always take an EV on Tech Today because we want to get you the electric experience. Charging infrastructure here in the US is also a work in progress. It's kind of interesting to know that. But Shivan, all the way in Delhi, has decided to take an Ola S1 Pro and tell us about all the new technology features with the new OS update. Have a look.
So today we have with us exclusively on the Tech Today show the red hot Ola S1 Pro. Well, no pun intended. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they've come out with some new features with a new software update, and there is a lot more happening with this scooter. How safe is it? We'll get to that in a bit. But right now, I just want to tell you that you can unlock it using just your phone. So once you've unlocked the scooter using just your phone, the next new feature that they've added is an eco mode, which we'll talk about. Eco mode is basically your hyper mode, a sport mode, and a normal mode, which you're already getting on the S1 Pro. And now there is an eco mode, which gives you further range. Let's see how it works. Essentially, what they're claiming is that you'll get range of 165 kilometers on a full charge on the eco mode. In my experience, what I feel is that, when it comes to electric vehicles or scooters and their relationship with range, it all depends on how you're going to use the vehicle. So in this case, in the eco mode, what I felt was that you'll get extra range only if you're not going to rev it. As far as the differences are concerned, in the eco mode, you will not get as much acceleration power as you would get in the other modes, obviously. The cruise control will not function in eco mode. Cruise control is another new feature that they've added with the software rollout. And the third thing is that as soon as your battery is left with about 15%, the eco mode will kick in. Another feature with the eco mode is that as soon as your speed hits about 42 kilometers, it will lock it there and then. You can't rev more than that. You can't gain speeds further than that. So there is another feature that they have added, which is called cruise control. I mean, you have heard of it in a lot of four-wheelers, but now you will get to see this in an electric scooter as well. It will only apply between speeds of 20 and 80 kilometers an hour. So it will lock your speed. You can forget about accelerating and just enjoy the ride. You press on the brakes and you're done. You're out of it. The next feature that we'll talk about is the onboard navigation which Ola has introduced. Now, seeing your entire map open in the entire screen in front of you, it is definitely a welcome change and you will enjoy that entire experience. And it is powered by Map My India. That is the platform that Ola is using. Now, there are times when there is a GPS lag. That becomes a bit of a problem, obviously, if it's not going to connect easily. But when it does, then it is a beautiful experience to have it as a map on your entire screen. I would have preferred Google Maps, but Map My India works as well. If your maps are on, very good. But to get that address onto the screen becomes a problem because the touchscreen is not very responsive. Now, these are things that, are still work in progress and I really wish it gets there sooner. But as of now, yeah, putting in your passcode or typing in any kind of an address becomes a bit of an issue because the touchscreen is a little rough. So the Ola scooter already had speakers built into it, but now they've also given you the option of hearing songs on those same speakers. So Bluetooth, you connect your phone with the scooter and then hear whatever you can play on the phone through the speakers in the scooter. I do feel that, it is a good way to attract a lot of attention. But as far as hearing that music yourself, I don't think it's going to be that much of an experience because once you have your helmet on and you can hear the wind in your, around you, it is a little difficult hearing the music that you're playing. But overall, it is a good way to get more eyeballs attached to the scooter. So overall, I do feel that, with all these new features that they are adding, I think it is setting a trend for scooters in times to come. As of now, there are hiccups that I find. There are issues which I find. But I'm yet to, really find another scooter which is trying to break that mold of how scooters are defined as of now. Going forward, electric is going to become more and more relevant. And I think I do want to see more of these features evolve as they are already. This is the Ola S1 Pro. And I hope with the next OS update, more such features come in and these ones just become stronger. As far as we are concerned, people safe and sound while riding this one.
Now, I'm here in Las Vegas, as you know, but before I got onto this flight, I had a very interesting conversation with a bunch of young creators who've now become finfluencers. How did they become finfluencers? Is it a feasible job option? Can you quit your 9-to-5 job and become a finfluencer? Well, let's find out.
Shreya, you're no stranger to quitting your job and pursuing a similar career in explaining stuff happening in the personal finance world, what's happening in crypto, taxation. I'll be very honest with you, as business journalists and tech reviewers and stuff, often these are things that we face as challenges because it's not the most cool or interesting content. So to make it cool is quite a task. Has it been a task for you as well?
Oh, 100%. Because, there are so many minute details to all of these topics, be it taxation, be it insurance, be it investing. And the thing with finance is you cannot really put out a fact that's incorrect or it's not fact checked at least 3-4 times from multiple sources. So in that sense, it is very challenging, but it's a challenge that I really enjoy taking up every single day because it allows me that sort of creative outlet, very honestly. So as you mentioned, when I quit my job, I think the sort of driving factor behind that was that it didn't feel like a creative space. I didn't feel like I was able to express myself 100%, which is why I quit. So when I started this content creation journey, it started out more as a creative outlet to the ideas I had in my head. Because even before that, I was working as a freelancer with a lot of fintech companies. So I knew that there was definitely a demand for content out there, 100%, because I was working with some of the biggest fintech companies across the country. But I think the final push came for me when, like a lot of my friends asked me, this was around April 2021, and they were like, okay, what do we do about taxation? Okay, like we're starting jobs, what do we do now? So I think that for me was sort of that tipping point that okay, now probably there's definitely a demand for it, and it's a challenge to put across that one point around, say for example,
Right.
taxation on crypto in just 30 seconds. So let's see how it goes, and it's been going pretty well.
So Sharan, somewhere in your creator journey, you quit your job, and I'm guessing your parents must have been aghast at that, saying, why are you quitting your job for a career on Instagram? And just to put things in perspective, if someone young is watching and they are inspired by your content, and maybe they want to take that leap as well, because there's always a dearth of good creators, and there's always a space for good content on apps like Instagram. If that person was working in the media or a management consultancy or whatever, and making 100 rupees, how would you advise a creator in terms of being a personal finance expert or a scholar in the next 6 months, 12 months? What could he be expecting to earn, and how should he go about his journey?
The money, the money aspect of it, right? So once you reach like 10K followers, I think that is when the brands start reaching out to you for brand promotions. So I think for someone who has around 10K followers, right, that person might probably not be able to make as much money as they're making in their primary job. So like say, I'm assuming this is a 25-year-old person, right? And let's say they get they're 2 or 3 years into their main job, their corporate job, right? I would say maybe with someone at 10K followers, he might be not as much as how much he's making in the corporate job, right? Plus it will be an unstable income as well at 10K followers. But once he reaches the 100K mark, that is where things get interesting. I would say someone with 100K followers in the finance domain space is probably making as much as someone who is graduated from IIME in a year.
That's a great way of putting it. Fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. That is what's happening. And coming to my own experience, what has happened is, you said, my parents would have been aghast when I quit my job. They were actually clueless as to what I'm doing when I started creating content itself, right? They don't understand it, because Indian parents, when they see that effort is not leading to money, they might not probably, be in support of that, because at the end of the day, something that you do has to make money, right? They won't buy the dream that I'm doing it just because I like it or, it's fun, right? They want you to spend your time on things which make money. So initially that was there. But eventually when I did quit my job, my parents were kind of comfortable, with, that decision, because they knew, right, that content creation was giving me, good enough income to sustain my lifestyle.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this special episode of Tech Today from Las Vegas. We're going to be covering a lot more from this city, from that special event in the coming days. You got to go to Tech Today and Business Today's YouTube page and check out all the cool content that we are producing from here in Las Vegas. For all of you who've tuned in, thanks so much for watching. Until next week, adios.